Adding benches. So I'll show you two different methods for this, and they're exactly the same method as adding kick rails. So first of all, we'll have a look here. I've got the design with the benches already in place. So what I'm going to do is delete them and then place them back. So first of all, I'll just delete the sink, and then the bench. I can't see it very well. It's so I'll just click the display preferences. I'll turn everything off. I'll turn counters on so I can see them, and then just delete them and go back to the display preferences, turn everything on and have a look so you can see what we're doing. So now the objects are just sitting there with no benches in place. Now to do this automatically, it's not possible with this design because it's a little bit complex with the extended panels and things. So I'll show you how it could be done if they weren't there. So we go back to displaying preferences. I'm going to turn everything off. I'm going to turn on base cabinets, and I'm going to turn on counters, and OK. Now I could only do this section here automatically. So if your design is simple like this L-shaped section, then yes, you can do it. So you'd be saying select the area, come out here, click and drag over those objects and select them. Go to the operate on selected objects, operations, and that was the toe kick, and here is the add counter. And so you'll see that over these objects here now, the counter has been placed and stops at the dishwasher here. So if your design is simple, then you can do that. You can then click to overhang the edges, click on the edges, and create the overhang, and set the offset. It is currently set at 25mm, but you can type any value you like there, and OK, and it creates the overhang, and that section of bench would be done if it was a simple bench. So now I'm going to delete that, and this is the bench on the outside here, and what we're going to do is, this is the area that the counter gets placed, but we're going to draw it because it's rather difficult. So I click the plus sign that I want to add. I choose that I want to add a counter and then the default counter, and say OK to that, and I'm ready to start drawing it in place. So I get a start position. So I'm going to, these are in line here. So I actually, well, I'll start in this corner here, so I have to click inside that edge of the that external panel there. So I click there to start the bench and just check to see that it's correct, and it is. And I move clockwise around the design. So I'm going to this point here. Now I want to come out the same value as that point there, so I'm just going to click and line that up approximately there, because there's above the bench there's a unit sitting on the bench. So I'll just click there and move down, and I'll just be careful to zoom inside this corner, come out to the front and click inside that corner, then back to this point, back to inside this corner point here, and I'm clicking the left mouse button. So now I can come all the way down to the bottom here and click inside the edge, and then inside this edge, and I'll just zoom out and check. So now I press the enter key and it places it to all those points. So the bench is in place, and we'll just look at it. So it's in place, and now I'm just going to overhang it. So we click the polygon editor function here, which shows us the bench, and I choose that edge, not that one, so I just need to get this edge in here, and then this edge. I'll do them all the same in this particular case, and that edge and that edge. So those are the edges I'm going to push outwards, and we'll say yes, 25 mils okay, and it's complete. So now we're going to 3D it, and there's our bench in place with the overhangs in place. So we haven't applied a texture or anything yet, but the bench is in place, ready to continue. Benches can also be created any shape and any in any direction. So the way of doing that is to place the bench by simply typing measurements. So that can also be done. So we can, for example, say add a bench and say okay, and draw them like balls, except it becomes a polygon object. So we can type here, and we can say we want 1200, for example. We can move out here and say we want 3 meters. We can come down here and say we want 600. We can come back here and say we want 2400, and come out here, and we can just zoom in if we want to, and make that edge nice and straight. We come down till it looks exactly like that, click the mouse button, press the enter key, and that bench is also drawn, just floating in mid-air. It's actually sliced through that object there, so I'll just bring it out and drop it here, and you can see that it's just been freehand drawn, and it can be drawn with any shape.